The fifth step is my absolute favorite. We get to start stitching our applique in place using our free motion settings. I am going to go ahead and show you how I stitch the main applique, but you may want to start with your little practice piece if you're new to this. So you're going to position your applique underneath the needle and lower the presser foot. Again, it won't touch your fabric. You can start on any shape you want, but I'm just going to kind of demonstrate how I do a couple of the shapes on here. The main idea is that we're going to outline each shape twice first, and then we're going to add in the interior stitching details. Sometimes those are all one pass where you don't have to stop and reposition your fabric. Sometimes you'll stop and reposition. I like to start at the bottom of the leaf so that I don't have to reposition my fabric in order to stitch the veins in the leaf. And you can completely omit the veins as well. It's up to you. So I'm going to start stitching and just slowly moving my fabric so that the edge of the leaf passes under the needle. You'll want to choose a moderate speed that's comfortable for you, but go ahead and move that fabric pretty slowly. Now, you can see that I'm not following the exact same path twice. That's pretty much impossible, unless you're really a super pro at this. But that wobbly sort of look, I think, gives it a lot of its charm. So now I'm going to stitch the vein in the leaf, and I'm going to add some little details here as I go back down the vein from the center to have it branch out a little bit. And again, you can choose how you want this to look. You don't have to do the veins the same way I do. And there, I've completed the first leaf. And I'm not even going to bother trimming my thread. I'm just going to move over to my next position and I'll trim all the threads when I'm done with everything. I like to start with my needle on the left hand side so that I can use my finger to sort of hold down the thread as I get started so it doesn't try to bunch up into a little knot at the beginning. So to make the roses, we go around the border of the circle twice, just like we did with the leaf. We outline that. And then when you are getting close to your starting point on the second pass around, then you're going to want to start thinking about spiraling in. And so I spiral in to create those petals, and I sort of touch the edge at one side and find another point and touch the edge. And as I work my way around, I work my way in, so I'm touching the edge where I've gone in from the border, and I keep getting smaller and smaller, creating those petals. Now you can make as many or as few petals as you like with those spirals, however you like it to look. If it helps you feel better, you can certainly use a fabric marking pencil to mark those lines beforehand and then follow them as you go. Now in the center, I like to go around twice, and then I'm gonna spiral back out so that I have a consistent style where my stitching has two passes over each part of the applique, so that you get that consistent sort of sketch-like appearance throughout the whole project. So I'm spiraling back out towards the border, and I'm nearly done here. One more little tap along the border, final petal, and I'm gonna stop right where I started. And now let me just demonstrate real quick how I do this little grouping of leaves in a branch together. Okay, so I like to start at the top leaf and work my way down first. So I start at the point of my top leaf and go around it twice. And then I start working my way down making a stem that goes between the pairs of leaves. So I go around that twice, and then I do the one across from it. I don't do any veins on these little leaves since they're kind of small, and that stem that we're stitching between them sort of creates its own special detail. Almost done, 2 more to go. And then you'll see how we finish up the stem of this little branch as the final step of stitching this little grouping of leaves. So I go down past the starting point and go out a little bit, and then I work my way back up to where I started, the bottom point of that leaf. And that is how I stitch. So you see how I made a stem between all of those. This one has the veins in the leaf and your rose, and you're going to continue stitching all of your leaves and roses